You are not special. Happiness is a problem. Suffering should not be avoided. And you are wrong in everything. These ideas go against almost all personal development materials, and they are some of the ideas that form the basis of Mark Manson's book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F***. This title represents the rejection of the pursuit of the ideal success that is imposed by society. It is getting rid of the pressure to be always thinking positive. It is not accepting the feeling of inferiority because your life does not correspond to what others expect from you. In today's Arata Academy summary, we will learn about a different strategy for you to have a better life by breaking free from the pressure of having to look happy and optimistic all the time. Even if you do not agree with all the ideas presented, see how they have the power to start a reflection on the path that you are following for your own life. Positive thinking is not the key to happiness. Many personal development materials are propagating the idea that positive thinking is the key to being happier and richer and more productive. This idea also seems to be contaminating the social networks. If you see many profiles of companies, celebrities, influencers, and even our friends, they all try to build the idea of a positive, optimistic, extraordinary life. However, we all know that real life is not like that. Not all people are extraordinary, and even the lives of the extraordinary people are not made only of special moments, and that is fine. The first step in rejecting this idea of the perfect life is to accept that you are not special. It is accepting the negative aspects of your life. It is clear that not every opportunity in the world will serve you. And this message is especially valuable for sufferers trying to live a reality that is not viable. If you're not one of the people who have long tried to live a life far from your reality, this acceptance will bring you a feeling of tranquility and satisfaction. By lowering your expectations, you also decrease your frustration. And I know that you probably heard the advice that you should not give up on your dreams. And this is good advice, but in practice, it can become a big source of dissatisfaction. Let's say if you have the dream of becoming a professional soccer player, and you tried, but now you're 35 years old, and you never actually played the game professionally. Should you really insist on that? Wouldn't it be better to give up on this dream and look for other, more achievable dreams? And not giving up on your dreams brings a problem. The problem with you always being focused on what you do not have. In a future you would like to be in a certain way, but makes you stop enjoying the present moment. You stop appreciating and thanking what you already have. The more we try to feel good all the time, the more dissatisfied we are, because the search for something will only reinforce that we don't have that particular thing. Well, what would be the alternative? To accept the negative aspects of our life, to accept our limitations, accept our failures. Now, you don't have to be indifferent to everything. You don't need to be indifferent to what others think of you. You don't have to be ignoring the problems of life. You don't have to be angry at personal development. That would be a mistaken view. You should not be apathetic and indifferent to everything in your life. You must become someone who learns to be comfortable with failures, differences, and life's own limitations. You should not be indifferent to what people think of you. What you should do is to stop caring too much about the small details that have little impact on your life. It is necessary to prioritize your attention on what really matters. You do not have the power to choose what happens to your life, but you do have the ability to choose what you want to care about, and your focus determines your reality. The pursuit of happiness can become a problem. Stop trying to solve all the problems in your life to finally be happy. Do you know that idea that if we had a certain body type, if we had a certain amount of money, if we had good love and relationships, then we would be much happier? You see, this is an idea that has been studied for thousands of years, and the conclusion is that this ideal happiness never comes. As soon as we achieve the goals that we think that will make us happy, there will be new goals coming up immediately, and the cycle never ends. This quest for an ideal life will never be completed. Instead of that, it is better to accept that pain, loss, and problems are just part of our existence, and they should not be avoided. Do not condition your happiness to the achievement of what you want or the escape of what you do not want. This makes it so much easier to experience happiness every day in your life. Accept that you're not special. Now, you may have heard in some program, a book, course, social network, the idea that you are special. And this is a very widespread message today to basically increase people's self-esteem and help them to achieve their goals. But this approach has a problem. Believing that you are special makes you feel entitled, as is entitled to results. Entitled people will make less effort to overcome difficulties later. The problem with you believing that you are special is that when something good happens in your life, you believe that it is your own merit. And when something unwanted happens, you might have the tendency to blame other people because, well, since you are special, the mistake was not yours. And this impairs the ability to take responsibility for your own improvements. Do not confuse being unique with being special. Yes, you are unique. Your life experiences, your ideas, your dreams, they're all different from other people. But just being unique does not mean you are special. Because for everyone is special, nobody is special, or everybody is special, and that makes basically no difference. Some people come to believe that they are special because of some problem or some trauma that they suffered before, and these people might feel like victims and begin to act like victims. Believing that you are special leads people to act more selfishly, as if the world owes them something, and this kind of self-centeredness of keeping your full attention on yourself is a sure source of dissatisfaction. Believing that you should be special makes people compare themselves to people they see on television, at movies, or social networks. You keep comparing your backstage with the stage of other people, and that will only bring you frustration. The desire to have more positive experiences in itself is already a negative experience, and paradoxically, the acceptance of a negative experience is in itself a positive experience. So the way out is to accept that you are not special, in the sense that not everybody can be extraordinary. In some things, you're good, in other things, you're not, and that is okay. This diversity is one of the graces of life. Suffering has its value. Another very popular idea today is to avoid suffering. We're always trying to avoid problems, and this makes us always looking for more comfort, more safety, more easy things. The problem is that suffering can also make us grow, and for this we need to develop our self-knowledge. When you understand what values guide your life, then you have a better understanding of your failures and successes. Good values are realistic, socially constructive, and immediate and controllable. For example, honesty, innovation, vulnerability, standing up for what you believe, respect, humility, creativity. On the other side, bad values are superstitious, socially harmful, and they're not immediate or controllable. For example, manipulation, violence, hedonism, wanting to be the center of attention, or getting rich just to be able to show off. Prioritizing better values is choosing to care about better things. And these things bring us better problems, better quality problems, and with that, life is better. When you're clear about what you value the most, then you take control of your life. You consciously decide to face the good problems, the problems that will make you grow as a person. The idea is not to escape problems. The idea is to figure out what kind of problem you prefer to deal with. If you do not make this conscious decision, well, you'll also be making a choice. One way or the other, we are always choosing. Everything that happens in our life is our responsibility. Of course, some things beyond our control can happen, but we do have the responsibility to choose how we interpret these events and how we react. Learn to accept that problems exist. Acceptance is the first step to solving problems. As the next step, you have to take responsibility. Many people refuse to accept the responsibility for doing something about it because they're afraid of being blamed. And these are two completely different concepts. Don't confuse blaming with taking responsibility. When you're looking for someone to blame, you're focused on punishing. But now, when you're thinking about responsibility, you're focused on the solution that can be implemented. And happiness lies in solving problems. If you avoid problems, or if you think that you have no problems, you are on the road to unhappiness. If you think you cannot solve your problems, well, then you're also in the road to unhappiness. The key is to solve problems, not to have no problems. True happiness only happens when you find out what type of problems you want to solve. You are always wrong because learning is endless. We're always seeking certainties. We want to eat the right foods, we want to find the right partner, we want to invest in the right business, and these certainties are often distractions that prevent us from finding new forms of development. If you're sure that you have a tendency to put on weight and get sick, there's going to be a limit to the efforts you're going to put to find a healthy diet. If you're sure that you're not attractive, this is going to limit you from finding a good partner. If you believe you're not good with numbers, this is going to limit you in doing good investments. If you do not question your certainties, this may be limiting and sabotaging yourself. Instead of cultivating these certainties, you should be learning and recognizing that you're always wrong and seek to be a little bit less wrong every day. Learning is endless. As much knowledge as you have, the amount of things you do not know is always much greater than the amount of things that you do know. The important thing is to be always improving. It takes the courage to kill your old self in order to make room for a new self. And this constant reinvention is essential to your development as a person. Failure is part of the process. When we are seeking certainties and avoiding suffering, deep down we are wanting to escape failure. From an early age, we are programmed to believe that failure is a bad thing and it should be punished. We are reprimanded when we fail in any activity. We get a low grade. When we fail at school, we get fired. When we fail a job. But failure is part of life. To fail is to move on. There is no personal, professional development without failure. Avoiding negative feelings only deepens and prolongs these bad feelings, leading to emotional problems. Constant positivity is a form of escape. It is not a valid solution to life's problems. The best way to get rid of the fear of failure is to adopt the principle of action. Do something. Whenever you are paralyzed with fear for doing or failing to do something, simply take action and then you watch the results. This does not mean that you will stop being afraid. It just means that you will be able to act despite the fear. You can take a look at the episode Hello, Sage Arata, number 132. Just putting yourself in action, even if it leads to failure, it will make things happen. And at the very least, you have a lesson to learn. You need to learn to say no. Just as failure is part of the process, rejection also has its positive side. Most people have a hard time saying no. We don't want to look rude. We don't want to give up something. We simply associate the word no with a loss. Many times we need to learn to say no to one thing in order to have others, to say yes to others. This is an eternal game of choices that we have to make throughout our lives. Whomever tries to embrace everything ends up with nothing. Or you have to meet so many demands that you may end without having time for what really matters. Learning to set healthy boundaries is critical. You need to be clear about choosing what is important to you, so then you can say no to what is not important. This choice should not be made based on your personal values. Soon we will die. We all avoid thinking about the theme of death. We do not want to admit to ourselves that soon we will die, and this fear is justifiable. We want to make the most of life and not think about the day when we won't be here anymore. But this tendency to avoid thinking about death wastes our time. When you remember that you're going to die, you're more motivated to stop wasting your time on little things. This is the bright side of thinking about death. How many minutes would you spend on a social network if you knew you had just one day to live? How long would you be away from the people that you care about? How long would you be doing activities that you hate just to earn some money? The point is that you can have just one day to live, maybe, we don't know. Regardless of your age, your health, no one knows for sure how much time we have here on Earth. And one of our big challenges is knowing how to lead life when we have no idea how long it will last. We need to think long term to secure our uncertain future while taking advantage of the present moment, because it might be the last one we have. The best way to deal with this paradox is to live up to our values. If you live your life by following a code of ethics that you have created for yourself, you will leave an independent legacy, whether your date of death is today or 90 years from now. Those who live fully in accordance with good values are prepared to die at any moment. If you build a solid list of values and can live up to those values, you will be able to live your life well, regardless of time, and you can also subtly cease to care about all the other things that you don't value. Stop worrying about what society thinks of you. Don't live your life by comparing yourself to other people's standards. Live your life consciously and in accordance with your values. Whenever you feel sad, insecure, or anxious, the cause is likely to be the difference between your actions and what you really value. Whenever you're paralyzed, scared, or unsure of what to do next, check your list of values and the answer will be there. If you want to delve into this and find out how to generate your own values list, I made a special lesson in Planning Your Life course just about how to discover and rank your highest personal values, and you can view this special class right now by visiting arata.se/planningyourlife.